2000, October of 2000, I started to get severe back pain, chest pain. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't walk up a flight of steps without gasping for air. At night, I would sweat. All my clothes would be wet by the time in the morning. I basically lost about 70 pounds by the time March came. I know a lot of you ladies are like, yeah, cool, you lost 60, 70 pounds. But no, this is a 60, 70 pounds to the point where I was like 93 pounds. And I was very pale. I looked like I was about to die. Many doctors didn't know what was going on with me. They were saying, oh, she's faking it. Teachers were saying, thinking I was anorexic and bulimic. And nobody really believed me. Sometimes my parents wouldn't even believe me because it was like, oh, you'll be all right. Doctors didn't see anything wrong. But I think after they started seeing the weight loss, they knew something was wrong. I went from doctor to doctor from October to April. And finally a doctor had saw that when he went to go take my blood pressure, he couldn't take it because I didn't have a pulse in my right arm. And he said, I know you're alive because I'm talking to you, but I couldn't get a blood pressure. So then he tried my left arm, and of course he got a blood pressure, but it was very high. It was like 180 or maybe like 100 or something like that. But it was very high for me to be 17 years old. So then of course he referred me to a doctor, Children's Hospital. Yeah. But he referred me to a kidney doctor at Children's Hospital. And what happened was she couldn't hear a pulse in my right arm, and she couldn't hear a pulse in my feet. Yes, you guys, you have pulses in your feet. And in order for her to get the blood pressure in my feet, she had to do a sonogram type thing. She put like gel on my wrist, and she listened to it with something like a sonogram, I want to say, just to make sure the pulses were still there. But during the period of October to April, it was my senior year. Yes, senior year in high school. And I was working. I was going to school, from 8 to 2:30, and then working from 3 to 11. And I can only say that God brought me through that because when I was diagnosed, they realized that my blood pressure was reaching over 200. It was like 217 over like 120 on a regular basis. And most people, when their blood pressure even exceeds 170, they start having heart attacks and strokes. But obviously I didn't have that. I'm still here, and God, kept me through that whole, working and going to school, not having any heart attacks or strokes or anything to that degree. But in April 27th, 2001, I was diagnosed with something called Takayasu's arteritis. I know. Takayasu's arteritis. I'm going to say it one more time. Takayasu's arteritis. And it's called Takayasu's because that was the man who discovered this disease and what it's about. And what Takayasu's arteritis actually is, it's a disease that inflames your arteries, and it makes it hard for your blood to flow. And when that inflammation inflames your arteries, sometimes it causes scar tissue, so it makes it hard for blood to go through. I was diagnosed by a doctor who actually studied this disease in South Africa. Praise God. He told me that if I wasn't diagnosed within 6 months, I would have been dead. Wow. Of course. This disease is rare. It's 1 in a million between the ages of females, 10 to 22, I believe. And it occurs in Indian females, like over there in eastern countries. Not too common over here in the United States. So of course when they, told me that, or told my parents that, it was kind of a shock because nobody has heard of Takayasu's arteritis. and they don't even know a cure for, the type of medications to give for this type of disease. So of course when I was diagnosed, they gave me about 13 different medications to take every day. Yeah, 13, like I said, 13. Like I would take 4 at 8 a.m. and at 12 a.m. I would take 3. And at 3 o'clock I would take another 4. And at 4 I go to bed, I take another amount. And this medication was so potent and powerful that my hair started to fall out. You'll see the pictures of those. My hair was falling out, was thinning out. Of course I was on steroids, prednisone, which makes your face very round and makes you very hungry. So I was like 93 pounds going to buffets, getting like 3 or 4 plates and tearing it up. But at that point in my life, of course, I was 17 years old and being diagnosed with a chronic illness. And I could say God kept me, because it wasn't a sense of worrying and, oh my gosh, I'm going to die, or, oh my gosh, this and that. But God kept me, He sustained me. He gave me a right frame of mind, because I was being strong for my parents. It's hard for parents seeing their children going through something. And even to hear that their child could have been dead in 6 months is very, is very hurtful, because you always think, you're going to, your kids are going to bury you and you're not going to bury your children. But I was supposed to be going to Morgan State University. I didn't get a chance to go, because the weekend, I was supposed to leave on a Thursday, but the weekend before I was supposed to go, I went into the hospital. Now, through the years of 2001 and 2002, I could say I've been in the hospital about 30 times. Yeah, that's about right, about once or twice every month, because the medication that they was given to me, it wasn't controlling the disease. My body was basically rejecting the medication. Now, Takayasu's arteritis is an autoimmune disease, meaning it's my body attacking itself. And they were trying to figure out how to suppress this disease and how to get it under control. And while this disease was active, it did some damage. So in January of 2002, they moved my kidney. They moved my right kidney. They moved it from, where it's in your upper back, and they moved it to my pelvis. You'll see the scar of that. And also, in 2002, I had that surgery. And I never thought twice about it. And the doctors said that most people, either have one artery or 2 arteries going to their kidney, and that kidney had 2 arteries going to it to give it enough blood supply. Now, if it just was one artery, then my kidney would have malfunctioned and not working anymore. But praise God, He created me with 2 arteries going to that kidney.
The splendor of the King, clothed in majesty, let all the earth rejoice, let all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light, and darkness rises trembles at his voice, trembles at his voice.